Hello everyone. You're welcome back again to Valmigefits. So this is going to be one very interesting tutorial video. I want to say a very big thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for liking, thank you for dropping your comments. It is well appreciated. Please, if this is your first time here, do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you don't get to miss out on more interesting videos coming up. So today I'm going to be showing you how I made that very beautiful outfit you just saw, but this is the skirt part of it because I already have detailed tutorials on the corset top and the pants. In case you have not been following this video, this is a two-in-one outfit and this skirt is going to be hip and butt padded. So trust me, you want to watch this video to the end. So these are some materials I'm going to be making use of to create this very beautiful skirt. So let's get into it. First, I'll be folding my fabric in two with my largest measurement, which is my round hip measurement. And because this skirt is going to be hip and butt padded, I'll be using my new hip measurement for it. So what I'm doing here is taking my skirt measurement and including my half-inch seam allowance on my waistline. The next thing I'll do is to take my waist to my hip line and I'll make a mark there, and as usual I'll make same measurement by the side to have a straight line. After this, I'll take my waist to my skirt length, and this inner skirt is going to be measuring 15 inches, which is just 2 inches longer than the pant. So I'll connect these lines together and then take my round measurements. Now I have my waistline, my hip line, and then my full skirt length. So I'll take my waist measurement here, which is 24 inches, and then my new hip measurement, and of course my knee measurement. Please take note because this skirt needs to be well fitted, so your knee measurements will remain your original knee measurement, not adjusted like this hip measurement. So I'll be including my side seam allowance of just 1 inch. Guys, make sure you watch this video to the end so you don't miss out on some techniques I'll be using to create this skirt. So I'm going to cut out this front piece and I'll use it to cut my back piece. So this is how it looks like after cutting out. Now I'll fold another fabric in two and place my front pattern on it with 2 inches zipper allowance. On my waistline will be 1.5 inch, my hip line will be 2 inches, and on my knee line will be 1 inch. This technique is to contour your skirt center back for it to be well fitted. The last thing I'll be doing is including my back darts of 1 inch, and then I'll connect this to my hip line and then to my knee line. I'm only going to be having darts on my back pattern and not on my front pattern. After doing this, I'm going to cut out this back piece. So this is how it looks like after cutting out. I have my front and my back pattern here, and I'm going to be making use of this to cut on my lace fabric. Now I'll fold my fabric in two and I'm adjusting it to how I want the pattern to come out after cutting it. I'll place my inner skirt on it, but this lace fabric is going to be a long straight skirt. So guys, the measurements used for my inner skirt knee is what I'll be using for my lace full length. Like I said earlier, because this skirt is a long straight skirt, I'll be using same measurement up to where my inner skirt stops. You can see me taking same measurement all the way up because I want it to be very accurate. Now I'll use my inner skirt to trace down to the knee, and then I'll connect these lines together. So after connecting these lines, I'll cut out my front piece. Here is my front cut out piece, and you can see how straight the lace fabric is. So I'm going to be using this to cut my back piece. Now I have my fabric already folded and my inner skirt is placed on it, and I'm using my front lace to cut out my back lace. Here I'm splitting my zipper allowance in two, and here is the final look of my cutout piece. Even before sewing, it's already looking beautiful. So let's get into sewing. But before we get into that, I'll be cutting out the lining for my inner skirts, and here they are. Remember I said this skirt is going to be hip and butt padded, right? So I'll be doubling the fabric for my inner skirt because I want to reduce the visibility of my pad lines. So here is the second fabric I cut out for my skirt. I cut the second piece exactly like my main fabric, and on the lower part I fused with interface because I want to give it some stability there. Here is my lining and I also fused with interface. I reduced it by 1 inch on the lower part of it because I'll be using it to turn my main skirt, and I'll also be reducing it on the hip side to my original hip measurement. After turning with my lining, this is how the hemline will look like. So here is my back piece, and just like I did for the front, I'll do exactly for the back piece. This is my lining fused with interface. I'll take all this to my sewing machine to work on, and I'll come back and show you guys the next step. So I have worked on these and here they are. I have held on my zipper allowance and also my back darts. This is the right side of it and this is the wrong side of it. I opened up my zipper allowance to iron flat and this is how it looks on the right side. So you can see how I doubled it. Guys, I couldn't get the exact shade for my inner piece, but that won't be a problem. So this is my lining. I made sure to hold my dart exactly with same measurement as the main fabric. So this is my front cutout piece marked with my body measurement. Now I'll introduce my hip and butt part just to show you how it's going to look like. So this is my hip and butt pad. Don't worry, I'll drop a link on how you can create your own hip and butt pad. So this is the reason why I doubled my skirt, so I don't have my lines visible. So I'll place my front and back main fabric together, right side facing each other, and I'll shape to my body measurement using the expanded hip measurement. I'll do just the same for my lining, but I'll use my original waist and hip measurement for my lining. I'll take this to my sewing machine and then I'll come back and show you guys the next step. Here is my shaped skirt looking all nice. Oof. Guys, please don't mind the water on it. I over sprinkled while ironing. So I have shaped the side of the skirt and this is how nice it is looking. I did the same thing for my lining, and like I said earlier, I used my original body measurement for it. On the link for how to create your own hip and butt pad, I'll explain why there is difference in the hip measurement. Placing my lining on my main fabric, you can see the difference on the hip measurement, and I used just half of an inch for my hip pad. So you can see it's just half of an inch difference from my main fabric. So this hip pad was created with half of an inch. You can decide to go as much as you want, but because I want to keep it on the minimal, I decided to use half of an inch. To fix this pad, I'll loosen my zipper allowance and spread the skirt open. So what I'll do now is take my hip and butt pad and place it on 1.5 inches away from my waistline. The half inch will be for seam allowance, while the 1 inch spacing will be for my hip and butt pad to look well structured on my body. So I'll take my hip pad now and place it right on my lining, using the seam line of the hip pad on the side seam line of my lining. I'll stitch the hip pad to the lining with the side seam lines facing each other. So make sure to stitch it exactly on the seam line. And after doing this, I'll stitch it round on my lining. This is to hold it down to my lining. Some persons prefer to glue it with gum on their lining, but I prefer to do it this way. So I'll do the other side of it and then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks like. So I have gone ahead to sew this hip pad to my lining and this is how it is looking. This is how it looks like on the right side. This is the right side of my lining and you can see the stitches that I made on it. I made sure to sew exactly on my side seam line and then stitch round. So I'll take my main skirt now and I'll use the lining to turn the skirt. I'll place the hem of my lining to the hem of my main skirt with right sides facing each other, and here I'm making sure to position it center to center with side seams facing each other. This is to show the measurement for the lining and the main fabric is the same. So I'll position them this way and then I'll stitch it down together. After doing this, I'll flip it over to the right side. So I'll take this to my sewing machine to work on it, and then I'll come back and show you guys the next step to take. So guys, I have done that, and I've also gone ahead to sew my lace fabric just the way I sewed my inner skirt. I sewed my side seam and also held my zipper allowance, but I've opened up my zipper allowance so I can fix this lace fabric to my inner skirt. So just watch closely guys how to fix this together. So I'll take my skirt, my lace fabric skirt, and place it with the side seam lines facing the side seam lines of the main skirt. I'll also do this to make sure my dart lines are facing each other and my zipper allowance on each other. So I'll pin this together. I'm pinning my lace fabric to my inner skirt to hold it down together before sewing. Please take note, I am pinning my lace fabric to the main skirt only, not including my lining. You can see me separating my lining from the main skirt like so, because I'll be using the lining to turn the whole of this, and then I'll use my crease line, the zipper allowance crease line, to pin down together. The next thing I'll do now is to open up my lace fabric on where my inner skirt stops, and I'll open this up to my zipper line. This is to help me to be able to turn with my lining easily. So this is how I'll do it. I'll position it this way and then flip my lining over with the right sides facing each other. So I'll hold it down together like this, and then I'll sew round with 1/2 inch, starting from my zipper allowance up to my waistline, because I'll be turning the waistline too. I'll take this now to work on, and then I'll bring it back for the next step. So guys, I have done that, and you can see it is very easy to do. So this is what I did. This is how it looks like on the inside, and I also went ahead to top stitch the waistline to hold this together. So this is how it looks like on the right side of it. Now that we are almost done with this skirt, I'll flip it over to the wrong side. Even on the wrong side, you can see how so nice and neat it is looking. So you see this little hole is where I used to flip out the skirt into the right side of it. So the next thing I'll be doing is to top stitch that little hole to cover it up, and then I'll hold down my zipper allowance, and the next thing I'll fix on my zip. I'll take this away and bring it back, and oh wow, this is how it looks like right now. I fixed on my zipper and ironed really flat. So you can see how it's looking. You can see how beautiful, nice and neat it is looking. So on the front part of this skirt, I'll be having a curved side slit, and I'll open it up into the inner skirt. Let me show you something guys. You can see the side seam of my lace skirt is separate from the side seam of my inner skirt, right? Yes, because I stitched them separately. And the only place it is joined to the inner skirt is on the center back and on the waistline. So I'll open up my side slit and show you guys. So I have opened it up, and this is how it looks like. I piped this edge with a bias tape just for an easy step. I'll take this to my pressing table to iron properly, and then we'll be done with this skirt. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying back here with Valmigefits. I hope you learned one or two things from this tutorial, and this is how it looks like putting it on. You can see how it is well fitted, well arranged, and of course well bodied. So thank you for staying here. If you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop another interesting video. Please do not forget to like these videos and drop your comments below. And please click on the share button for others to see this video and learn as well. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.